Regularly scheduled programming will not be seen at this time. Now, stay tuned for the following special presentation.
We're a spotlight. The world truly does come to Rochester, New York for those 9 days. Whether it's performers or people that do the festival circuit. And then there are people that are just coming to Rochester, New York from all over the world because they're hearing about this festival.
We really see ourselves as part of the downtown community. So when downtown is filled with thousands and thousands of people, of course we want to be part of it.
I mean, this is a community effort. The Jazz Fest is a community that brings so many people together. It brings people from all over the area into the city. It's filled with life.
It's all about the music. That's the only reason we do it. It's all about the music and the education of the students, the scholarship program, the audience, the artists. Why are we here? It's all about the music.
Good evening and welcome to Jam Session inside the CGI Rochester International Jazz Festival. 13 Wham's annual spotlight on the City of Rochester's premier music event. I'm Dan Schrack.
I'm Abby Fridmann. This is the festival's 20th anniversary edition. It'll all kick off this Friday, June 23rd, and run for the next 9 consecutive days until July 1st.
In years past, the special has come to you from venues around the city, including the sites the festival uses for its late-night jam sessions. This year, welcome to church. This is Christ Church Rochester, a beautiful Episcopal church in downtown Rochester, one with a unique partnership with the festival.
We've invited our band to join us while we tell you a little bit more about this church, other venues with the festival, and some of the artists you'll be hearing. We'll look ahead to an exciting 9 days and share some memories from 22 years of the festival. This year, the festival will welcome more than 1,700 artists in 300 shows at 19 different venues. 100 of those shows will be free, and nearly 200 shows will be at 11 Club Pass venues featuring artists from all around the world.
So much to check out, and as the festival's slogan goes, it's not just who you know, it's who you don't know.
And music fans will definitely know this year's headliners. The festival came back after a 2-year hiatus with a change. The headlining shows in 2022 were free. Mark and John waited a year to bring back the paid performances at the Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater. And that's led to a combo for 2023 of paid headliners at the Eastman Theater and more big and free shows.
So we're doing a hybrid event. It's going to be a challenging year financially, but we're going to make it. We're going to be fine, and the event is going to be, the artistic side of it is going to be incredible.
Let's run down those headliners and help you make your plans. Opening night at Kodak Hall, it's jazz guitar great Pat Matinee, launching an all-new playing environment he's calling Side-Eye. It's a rotating cast of new and upcoming musicians who have caught his interest and who he's felt a kinship with.
We haven't played together for a few months now. We did have a break, and Rochester will be right near the beginning, so I expect it'll have that sort of fresh energy that you get right at the beginning of a tour, and I'm really happy that we'll get to share that with the festival audience there. Music is unusual. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, but when you walk in a room and there's a band playing or a symphony and it's fantastic, everybody that's sensitive to music responds to that. What is that?
Pat Mathene's Side-Eye is June 23rd at Kodak Hall at 8 p.m.
The next night, Saturday, June 24th, also at Kodak Hall, it's Grammy-winning bluesman Keb Mo back in the theater. He's played in twice during Rochester Jazz Festivals, once with his own headline show, and another side-by-side with Daryl Hall.
I got my help. I've got my, my guitar. It's a simple life for me. It's very simple for me. Do what I love, and just the rest just takes care of itself. I just love doing what I do, and I just want to do it well. I know I'm not maybe the best, but I'm the best me. And if I can bring the best me forward. That's what it is.
Happening that same night, St. Paul and the Broken Bones playing for free at the same East Avenue and Chestnut Street stage they played on in 2017. The 8-piece powerhouse band is a high-energy combination of rock, R&B, psychedelia, and funk. Showtime Saturday the 24th is 9 p.m.
The first weekend ends with a truly unique opportunity for music fans. A Sunday matinee by Omar Puta Undo, the grande dame of classic Cuban music, and the voice of the Buena Vista Social Club. Her performance at Kodak Hall is going to be one of her final performances before retirement, and will include her retrospective of her life in music called Vida.
This woman is 92. She still sings beautifully. She's going to fly from Havana to Rochester via New York City direct to perform for us on a Sunday afternoon matinee on the 25th of June. So if you don't know who Omar Portuondo is, our motto is it's not who you know, it's who you don't know. Take a chance. Go hear this woman.
Then there's this woman who you do know, the legendary Bonnie Raitt. She's headlining at Kodak Hall on Tuesday, June 27th. She was one of the first names announced and quick to sell out. After the Bonnie Raitt show, the headlining shows moved to a new phase and a new place. Free performances from the Wegman stage at Parcel 5.
Wednesday night, June 28th at 9 p.m., it's pianist Bruce Hornsby and his band The Noisemakers. The 13-time Grammy nominee has sold over 11 million albums worldwide and is known for his own music, as well as collaborations with artists including headliner Bonnie Raitt, Don Henley, Bob Dylan, and the Grateful Dead. His latest album, Flicked It, came out in 2022. He's back at the festival after his 2016 appearance.
Thursday night, June 29th, sees the return of Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes to the festival. Fans know they're going to see and hear an improvised musical circus based on rock and blues. He's looking forward to bonding again with Rochester fans.
You have to be open to the audience's reaction too. There are nights when they're going to want to hear songs and just sit and listen. There are nights when they want to get up and get rowdy and sing along, do all different things. And you just kind of have to be aware of the fact that the audience is there for you to entertain. They have a say in what goes on too. It's a great pleasure to please an audience. And you know, that's kind of what we're there for. I learned many years ago that people have a lot of problems, and for 2 hours while they're watching us, they can forget all those problems. So,
on Friday, June 30th, it's the music of Leonard Skinner from one of the musicians who crafted it. Drummer Artemis Pyle and the Artemis Pyle Band will honor the music of Skinner and the man who helped define it, Ronnie Van Zant. Artemis's band is a group of friends and some of the most seasoned musicians in the Southeast. They'll be playing Skinner hits, including Sweet Home Alabama, Freebird, and more.
And then there's a musician who many fans of the Jazz Festival associate with it like no other, Trombone Shorty.
He's been here 8 years. He's going to close Parcel 5 this year. One of our great photographers, Peter Parts, took a photo from the top, and I remember sending it to all these big booking agents in Hollywood and saying, anybody else have a Trombone Shorty mile-long fan club? It was a mile long, all the way up to Gibbs, like right all the way up.
It was the same show.
And it was so fun, and no one got hurt. Everybody had a great time, and that was kind of like, that's why we do this.
Trombone Shorty will close out the festival Saturday, July 1st, from the Parcel 5 stage for free.
If you need this list of headliners again, head to rochesterjazz.com. And while you're there, download the 2023 free app for iPhone and Android. It will allow you to access festival information anywhere, anytime, and create your own personal schedule.
You heard from some headliners during that timeline. Be sure to watch Good Day Rochester on 13 Wham and Fox Rochester for more of those great interviews in the coming days.
This year's festival is branded as the 20th anniversary edition. Producers John Nugent and Mark Iacona couldn't help but take note of that 20-year milestone.
We asked them about that first year and found some great footage in the 13 Wham archives.
Welcome to the first annual Rochester International Jazz Festival.
That's singer Diane Reeves welcoming the audience to her performance in 2002, year one of the Rochester Jazz Festival. The festival was a success, but Mark Iacona and John Nugent knew they had to face some skeptics. They had some moments themselves.
I'll be honest, I was a little concerned. Of course, I mean, I'm an outsider. I'm a Canadian, born and raised in Eastern Canada. I'm not from Rochester. I was living in New York City. I took the very first JetBlue flight to Rochester, New York, the first inaugural flight, flying in over the Kodak building in January going, what am I doing? But am I ever glad I did?
John brought his own saxophone to 13 Wham's morning newscast to promote the event.
So the heritage and the depth of music in Rochester, and going around to the clubs here, there's always some music going on here. So the reason we've decided to do this, we wanted to build another bridge for people to cross into and come to Rochester.
And the crowds and the headliners came.
I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Rochester International Jazz Festival Grand Slam finale at Frontier Field this Sunday. It is going to be hot.
But we delivered everything we said we would deliver in the first year, like Norah Jones, like Aretha Franklin, Sonny Rollins, Dr. John, all these great artists that performed in the first year. Everybody showed up.
13 Wham's coverage 20 years ago showed everyone's optimism.
We had over 1,500 people in here this week, and everybody's been saying that they'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. So
Gary Morrow knows what she means. He went to see a show last night at the Max of Eastman Place and liked what he saw.
Usually the doors lock up at 10 o'clock at night, and to see that many people out last night at that concert was really phenomenal. And we got out of there, I think, around 12 o'clock, and it was just fantastic.
They should have had the International Jazz Festival come here 25 years ago. But I don't know if people went to sleep. None of the higher-ups thought of it, but they should have if they wanted to make it work, because once you're the Jazz Center for 20 years, why lose it?
But after that first year, it really was individuals picking up the phone and calling and saying, you guys are going to do this again, right? And one thing led to another. I've been educated a lot in the music industry by John, and have grown to love not only what we do, but love the reciprocal things that happen in this community because of it, and also the lives that we touch.
And before long, they realized they had lightning in a bottle.
Saturday night, the last night of the festival, I get a phone call, and I look at it and I go, why is my wife calling me? She knows where I am right now, everything I'm in. So I pick up the phone and she says, where are you? And I said, I'm in the middle, I'm down on East Avenue. Why? Because we had two stages going on, East and Alexander, and one on East and Chestnut, remember that?
Yep.
And she said, you need to get down here now, right now, to East and Alexander. I said, why? You just need to get down here, it's crazy. She comes running up, I said, what's the problem? She says, you got to get up on stage and look out. I said, for what? She goes, you need to get crowd control. I said, for what, right? Because there was nothing going on. I got up on the stage and I looked down, and all I saw was a sea of people all the way down almost to East Avenue and Gibbs Street, where we are now. And it was, the blood rushed, because I said, we've really arrived, because everyone's embracing this festival.
One place that's embraced the festival is this beautiful church on East Avenue.
We'll tell you more about it when our jam session continues. For the first time since the pandemic, Jazz Fest patrons will fill the pews of Christ Church Rochester for the Global Jazz Now series.
And if you haven't been here since 2019, as soon as you step inside, you'll notice a truly remarkable change. The acoustics haven't changed at Christ Church Rochester, but since the last time Jazz Fest ticket holders filled the pews, a lot more has.
You know, the church was kind of blah. It was all white walls before that, yellowish white. And although it had a kind of grandeur to it, it didn't show off any of the features.
4 years later, the true beauty of the space is on display.
When I walked in the first time where the scaffolding was gone and the church was revealed, I cried. I just wept.
Built in stages over the course of 4 decades, starting in the mid-1850s, the church houses a remarkable collection of 19th century artwork, an altar of tile mosaics and stained glass by Tiffany, and several organs, including the Eastman School's Craighead Saunders Casperini, considered to be the most authentic Bach organ in the country. Years of wear and tear and piecemeal repair projects made the space feel disconnected. Water damage and leaks put some of its Tiffany windows at risk, and the south wall of the parish house needed stabilization, so the church began a capital campaign, raising some of the nearly $500,000 needed for a restoration project like no other.
Since we were going to have to paint the church anyway, we decided to really bring it back to a truly neo-Gothic decorative scheme, which is what you see in there now.
But before work began, the pandemic hit, shutting down the state and the church. Thankfully, many of the workers needed were considered essential.
Because the church was closed, the scaffolding was erected, and it was the whole church was scaffolded because we couldn't have services anyway.
Over the course of 6 months, and with the help of world-renowned architects, stained glass studios, painters, and more, Christ Church was reborn.
This church is very important to me. It's an amazing place. It has the parish has amazing people.
There's a feeling that you get standing in this space. You feel it is holy, even though everything is made by human hands, right? It is a holy feeling because you're in the presence of this incredible beauty.
It takes dozens of volunteers from within the church community to pull off this event.
For them, it's like preparing for a performance of their own.
The excitement of it. You know, you come down that first night, you know, at 4 o'clock to get your parking spot and things, and and to see the lines of people at Christ Church door, you know, down along East Avenue and things, that adrenaline just goes, and you go, this is exciting. You really felt like you were on stage and doing something really special.
This is a community effort. The Jazz Fest is a community that brings so many people together. It brings people from all over the area into the city. It's filled with life, and all of a sudden you see this church filled with all of that excitement and music. It's a fascinating and wonderful time altogether.
The Global Jazz Now series kicks off here at Christ Church Rochester this Friday at 7:30.
Coming up, you've heard from the headliners. Now you'll get to meet the next generation of jazz superstars.
The headliners at Eastman's Kodak Hall had to start somewhere. Many of them found their love of jazz at a young age.
There will be dozens of schools performing at the festival. We got the chance to speak with Arcadia's jazz band. They say they're ready for the big stage.
It's pretty exciting. You feel like you've kind of made it. You're on the big stage outside, and there's professional miking and everything like that.
While the Arcadia Jazz Band has been at the CGI Rochester International Jazz Fest, it's the first time this group of musicians will be there. It's been a long time coming, so they hold a special place in director Kimberly Ronan's heart.
These seniors have been with me since the beginning of COVID, and we've been through a lot together. And the fact that they've stuck with music and have still poured their passion into it is immensely rewarding as a teacher.
They've been practicing hard, are ready to go, and are hardly anxious.
Are you guys nervous at all? Yes. Yeah, a little bit, maybe.
But really, there's no reason for them to be. This group of young musicians can seriously jam, not just because they practice 3 times a week, but because all share the same dedication.
I'd say it's just the passion for music.
We feed off of each other, and like I said, they're also supportive of each other. We've got A+ players in every section.
That passion is obvious in the music they play and for their fellow bandmates.
Like band classes, you can go with like a lot of other different people, so you can meet people that you wouldn't normally be able to meet.
It just brings me joy, and it's fun playing with everybody. It sounds amazing, especially when you play with amazing people.
Kimberly Ronan tells me the select group is like a family. They give each performance their all, some playing instruments they've practiced for years, while others are trying something completely new.
I just picked this up this year, and I've really grown to love this a little bit more than my clarinet, to be honest.
Now, they'll already be on summer break once the festival rolls around, but they care about the group so much, they're willing to come back for one last gig.
I'm feeling super excited. Like, it's such an amazing experience to be a part of, and it's just so wonderful to play with all these wonderful people.
It's one of the craziest things. It gets so complicated real fast, but it's real good.
They may be young, but they play like pros, so keep your ears open for this group of up-and-comers. One day, you may just see them on the big stage. We've got some young talent here with us for our jam session.
We'll hear more from them next. Before we leave you tonight, we want to remind you that this program is called Jam Session because of the late night jam sessions every night at the Jazz Festival.
After you catch a show, you can head to the Squeezers nightly jam session at the Hyatt Regency Rochester.
They'll play until the wee hours with our friend and band leader, Bob Snyder.
Bob's been there since the very beginning. Check him out in our studio back in 2002.
There's a late night jam session. I think it's from 10 till whenever. Every night at the festival headquarters, I have a definite hardcore, following of people that will come out to hear me play, and they're out there here in Rochester.
Bob, what are those nightly jam sessions like?
It's an incredible combination of festival headliners and local pros and students, all sharing the stage, creating spontaneous ensembles and playing tunes together. It's just incredible.
Sounds very exciting. And don't forget, the CGI Rochester International Jazz Festival begins this Friday, June 23rd.
We will have plenty of coverage on 13WHAM and 13wham.com. We'll see you on Jazz Street.
Good night.